Charlie Kojis!
Thanks, everybody. You guys seem fun. Seems like a fun group of folks. Having some drinks on a Saturday night. What you'll notice in bars now is that if a girl goes up to go to the bathroom, what she'll do, she'll take a coaster, put it on top of her drink. Fun thing I like to do is take a pill, put it right on top of the coaster. She gets back for the bathroom and she's like, look at that, it worked. It's a perfect system, you guys. See, it's winter now. That's disappointing. Not a fan of winter. Honestly, I don't know why we all live this far north. I don't understand how there's an entire country above this country. Did you guys know about that? That blows my mind. If you've ever driven north for a few hours, you eventually get to a point where you feel like you're going to fall off the edge of the world. And then there's a whole country's worth of people that went, this looks like a good place to start. I like this as a southern border. This will be our Los Angeles, Manitoba. Doesn't make sense. I don't understand why birds come back. That's a mistake. Every winter, all the birds are like, this is terrible. We got to get out of here. And then spring rolls around like, well, vacation's got to end sometime. Let's get back to it. You don't own property or anything. Your profession is bird. You can do that remotely. It's very flexible. I quit a job one time where my boss, I told her I was leaving, and she actually asked me if I was going to be able to give 100% effort over the next 2 weeks. I was like, do you honestly think that just because I'm leaving, I'm going to start working twice as hard? They offered me a standing desk while I was there, and I didn't know how to tell them that sitting down was the only part of my job I liked. I would give up my health insurance in a heartbeat if they let me lay down at work. Can you imagine being able to hold that over your coworkers? Like, oh, you have dental? I have a chaise. Which one of those sounds more like a benefit? Dental. I don't need dental. Last time I went to the dentist, he told me that if I didn't start brushing my teeth more, eventually all my teeth were going to fall out. I was like, I got news for you, Doc. My teeth all fell out years ago. And they grew back stronger than ever. You think I'm worried about that information? I cannot wait to see what the next generation of teeth will accomplish. Those things are going to be unstoppable. Let's see, a little while back, I found a phone in the street one time. I decided to pick the phone up for a couple reasons. First reason, if someone found my phone, I'd want them to pick it up, try to get it back to me. Second reason is I just didn't have a whole lot else going on that day. Honestly, I saw the phone, I was like, thank God today's gonna be different than yesterday. So I picked it up, I put it in my pocket, and I waited a few hours. And then finally, I got an incoming call from Mom. So I answered the phone, and I said hello, and she said, Maria? Now, I don't know what Maria sounds like, but you should be a better mother than that. Can't imagine I nailed the impression. So I told her, I'm like, no, I found your daughter's phone. I've just been waiting for her to call. And her mom goes, oh, I haven't heard from her in a while. I'm really worried about her. And then she hung up the phone. And I went, oh, this isn't fun anymore. I have a dead girl's phone. And I have a pretty good alibi, but I'm still gonna be the guy in the first half of Dateline who they make you think did it for most of the episode. Until they're just like, nope, it was the boyfriend, same as last week's. So at this point, I'm just reading through text messages trying to figure out who killed Maria. And then finally, I got a call from Maria. So I answer the phone, I'm like, so glad you're alive. Moms are crazy. Come by later, pick your phone up. She got her phone. I was very appreciative. Very attractive girl for someone who just gone through a near-death experience like that. So I told that story to my coworker the next day, and he was like, oh man, you blew it. That was your chance to get the girl's number. I'm like, that's accurate logistically, but here's the thing. When you're a single guy, you have a decision to make in life. You can be the guy who's always trying to milk something out of every conversation, always has an agenda, or you just let things unfold naturally and be as they are and remain single. I'd gone for the much easier of those two options. Right? Because I hate that guy. I want to live in a world where I can just talk and have a conversation with the girl in line at the grocery store. I also want to fuck the girl in line at the grocery store. It's a tough place to be in life. Like when I was single, I was dog sitting one time, and a friend of mine was like, take dog for a walk. It's a great way to meet girls. So I did, and I went, that would actually be true if I wasn't holding this bag of shit. I went on a few dates with a girl one time, like a third or fourth date. She told me, she's like, I don't want to give you the wrong impression. I'm not really looking for anything long term. I'm like, all right, that's fine. And then she also told me, she's like, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable doing a friends with benefits kind of thing. And I had to go, oh, if it makes you feel any better, I don't really consider us friends. And that did not make her feel better. That did not help the situation. But I just had a good friend of mine ask me to be in his wedding party over the summer, which I was flattered. That's one of my favorite traditions, wedding parties. So two people announce to everyone they know. They say, this is the person I'm in love with, the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. And everyone they know responds by going, that's beautiful. Rank your friends. Top 5, let's go. Put them in order. All right, now dress them all the same. But what you'll hear sometimes from people who are married, common thing they'll say is they'll be like, I can't believe I married my best friend. I can't believe I married my best friend. Get some real friends, you loser. That's not how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to marry your wife, and your buddy Jeremy's your best friend, and your mailman is your mailman. That's how you do it. You can't just shuffle those 3 people around in any order. Think things are gonna keep working out for you. When somebody says that they married their best friend, what actually happened is that they started dating that person and then just immediately mismanaged their social life. 2 years later, they looked around and they're like, oh, you're my only friend left. You're my best friend left. You're my best friend. I'm gonna marry my best friend. That is how that decision happens. You hear that? Another thing you'll hear from people who are married, they'll be like, I can't believe how lucky I am. I can't imagine a better version of my wife. And it's like, how bad is your imagination? You can't just picture another person having straighter teeth and owning a jet ski. It's real easy to do. Take the person that you love and picture them owning more things that you love. Simple mind exercise. You're all capable. I'm in a relationship now. My girlfriend's fantastic. That's my current opinion. Big fan at the moment. But one of the big pieces of advice you will get when you're in a relationship is never go to bed angry. People tell you that's the whole secret. From my limited experience, I would give you the opposite of that advice. When you're angry, just go to bed. That is the solution to that problem. I don't know about you people, I don't wake up the next morning angry. I wake up hungry, and then I have to remember that I was angry. And I'm like, that seems like a lot of effort for a Sunday morning. And then my girlfriend wakes up, and I go, how you feeling today? And she says, hungry. And I'm like, we're on the same team again. This is unbelievable. I don't know how we pulled it off, but Dr. Phil would be impressed. Because people think you're putting off that big problem when you go to bed angry. For us, that's not true, because the big problem is that both of us are just overtired. When a baby's overtired, you don't go, well, let's unpack this emotionally. What's going on here? Is this a commitment issue thing, or what's happening with the baby? You just go, it's been a full day. Let's put it to bed. You can still solve adult problems with a nap. It's a viable solution. Like one of the things that my girlfriend and I will argue about is she'll do this thing where she'll go out and buy a lot of nice, expensive things, and then I have to remind her that she has no money. It's a fun dynamic. But that's not specific to her. There's tons of people in society who do that. It's actually why credit cards exist. It's because a portion of society is like, I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to have a lot of nice, expensive things. And society goes, yeah, we ran the numbers, and that is not true. That's not how the math worked out on our end. And then those people go, I'm pretty sure it is true, and that math is wrong, and you're going to redo those numbers by the 21st of the month. That's my theory here. I'm going to bet 15% that I get more nice things. Like, I'm at a point, I'm doing okay in life. I get to have some nice things. Like, I can go to a restaurant and order an appetizer. That's a pretty good place to be. The waiter comes by and is like, do you want some food before you start eating? I can go, yeah, I want to ease into this process. I didn't come to this Chili's because I was prepared. I'm right there. I'm at appetizer level. I'm not one of these dessert income bracket people, all right? They come by with the dessert menu. I'm like, I know how much a gallon of ice cream costs. I'm not falling for this scam. Yeah, I've gotten better at ordering my food at this point in my life. I figured out some of the tricks. I'll let you guys in on a few of them. First rule, if you're in a big group of people, doesn't matter who the waiter makes eye contact with first, you can just start talking. You just yell out the good entree before anybody else can, and you get to watch a ripple of disappointment go across the table as people have to start substituting out their sides to maintain individuality. That's the first trick. Second trick, order what you want. Don't order what the person that you wish you were would want. I've made that mistake. I was in a restaurant once, cheapest entree on the menu was duck. And I had a moment where I'm like, maybe I'm a duck guy. I could be one of those highfalutin duck guys, right? And then I decided to leave the restaurant. Because I know who I am. I'm not the guy who goes to a restaurant and only orders the burger. But I am a guy who needs the restaurant to have a burger somewhere on the menu. I feel safe. I know the follow-up questions. Medium rare, fries. I don't even know what the follow-up questions are for duck. How do you want that prepared? That really seems like the cook's call. Does he not know? Is he asking? I'm gonna go with like a chicken. That's as helpful as I can be. Yeah, it's not my area of expertise. Like, I own a cast iron pan. It's my most prized of all my pans. The big appeal to a cast iron pan is that whatever you make in the pan tastes like all of the previous things that you've made in that pan. That is the selling point for cast iron. Which, if you're a good cook, that is very exciting. If you're like me and you're just trying to figure out how to cook for the first time, you just own a haunted pan. Every time you're like, I'm going to try a new recipe today. Pan's like, remember the time you did that ketchup reduction? You're like, all right, well, I don't really need the ghost of brisket pass getting involved. This doesn't seem fair. I'm not a big fan of change. It's not one of my things. Like, I've had the same haircut since the time that I was a sophomore in high school, and I accidentally asked for a different haircut. I went into the barber and I told him I wanted a buzz cut, and he asked same length all the way around or flat on top, and I froze. Because I had not realized there were multiple variations of buzz cuts. And I had to try to remember what haircut I had, and I got it wrong. I told him flat on top, and he turned me away from the mirror, and for about 15 minutes I sat there being like, I'm pretty sure I got that right. That seems correct. And then he turned me back around to face the mirror, and I went, oh, I would have noticed. I would have known if I'd had a flat top up until this point in my life. So that was a difficult evening for me. I had to go back to high school the next day. I had to decide what my story was going to be when I got there. Whether I was going to pretend this is a decision I made. Like, yeah, I just decided to start taking life more seriously at 15. Figured this is what I needed, more structure, right angles. Or I could just own it and go, turns out I didn't know how to describe the top half of my head before yesterday. I can do that now. I still don't care. I don't think you should care about your haircut. My roommate cuts my hair once a month, and in exchange, I make him a sandwich of meats that we both own. It's a simpler way to live your life. Because deep down, I believe styling your hair is just another form of lying. We make fun of people with comb-overs for pretending they have hair where they don't have hair, which is ridiculous. We should also make fun of people with any sort of product in their hair for pretending they can defy gravity in ways that we know that it can't. If we're all honest about who we are in life, we'd all just look worse, and that's what we should be doing. Like, I had somebody recently ask me what my favorite color was, and I told him that I am an adult, I've made peace with all the colors at this point in my life. Not still taking sides on the issue. Like, more things should be blue. What are we doing? It's not one of my causes. If your favorite color is not one of the first 6 colors that you learned, you've overthought that question. If you're ever talking to someone who's a big chartreuse fan personally, what was going on in your life when you felt that should be part of your personality? Same thing, ice cream samples. Is that you people? Are you the people asking for ice cream samples? Just stop it. You know what it tastes like. Stop pretending you don't know. Like, oh, cashew delay, is that one cold too? It's like, look, you've tasted all 3 of the things in that flavor. If you can't put the pieces of that puzzle together on your own, don't admit that to another adult. You're buying a nice cream cone. This is your moment of whimsy for the week. You don't need to be mitigating risk right now. If you can't afford to blow your decision on your flavor of ice cream, just reconsider your whole trip to the zoo. Go rainbow sherbet. What does that one taste like? It tastes exactly like it looks. It tastes like a clown's wig. I hope I haven't given you guys the wrong impression. I'm normally a very optimistic guy. Like, if I get invited anywhere, I'll just bring a swimsuit. So you never know, right? Nobody said this wasn't a pool party. That's my mentality in life. Like, for example, a few years ago, I found a bulge on the right side of my waistline. And I am the opposite of a hypochondriac, because my reaction was just go, oh, I bet everybody's shaped like that. But we all just have bulges we're not talking about, right? And then after a few weeks, I was like, I'm just going to check with my doctor and make sure that he's also shaped like that. That seems responsible. So I scheduled a physical, and I went in for the physical, and up top the doctor asked me if I had any concerns, and I told him no. Because I have been to physicals before, I know they make you take your pants off regardless, so I didn't want to tease it. That felt like it'd be a weird move, to be like, I got something good coming up, but let's wait until the second half. That's when this thing's really gonna get going. So eventually we got to that point, I took my pants off and very casually, I was like, by the way, there's like an asymmetry going on down here. What do you think that's about? My doctor's like, yeah, you have a hernia. Like, really obviously. You didn't need to see a doctor to find that out. You could have just asked anyone you know. Do you have an accountant? Same diagnosis. So he asked me, he's like, have you been in a lot of pain recently? I told him, just like a normal amount of pain. And then I had to read his expression and go, oh, is there not a normal amount of pain? You don't just hurt usually? So I go, hernia, what do? We just wait this one out, right? And he's like, no, you have to have surgery. I'm like, ooh, maybe like a topical cream instead? Is that an option here? Because the thing about surgery is that even for a minor surgery, they will make you fill out paperwork for what happens in case you go into a coma. I was like, oh my God, I hadn't even considered a coma. That sounds ideal. I am rooting for that now. Have any of you ever been in a place in your life where you can take a nap for a few months? Right? Know that when you wake up there'll be balloons? I want to be clear, I like life, but the worst part about life is it just keeps happening. It's just so constant. If you could take a break and die for a little while, you'd make that decision every time. No questions asked. You'd come back, someone would offer you a graham cracker, you'd be like, oh my God, I forgot about graham crackers. These things are fantastic. So glad I took that year off. I'm not actually worried about dying. I am worried about my funeral, because it's probably going to be a terrible funeral. I've never been to one and gone, they nailed it. I got to get their guy. Because for a wedding, people spend a full year planning out their wedding. They'll hire a professional wedding planner. Your funeral gets thrown together in that brief window when people are still sad. All the creative decisions get left up to a guy whose life choice was funeral home director. What are the chances that we're going to have the same taste in candles? You leave it up to him and you end up with an open casket funeral. I have no idea why that's part of the mourning process. To have people come by and be like, that's Charlie, just like I remember him. He always did love putting on a suit and taking a nap. I realize you can put that kind of thing in your will, but I keep putting mine off. I only work well on deadlines my doctor just refuses to guess. He's very focused on the hernia aspect of things. I'm like, let's go big picture here. When is this all going to be over? My current will is just a note that says, see Paul Newman's will. That means that if I die, that's not the worst thing to happen to my family that week. It's them finding out that they have to start a sauce company in my legacy with nothing but the $1,500 I left them and a picture of me near some herbs and my marinara recipe, which just says ragu plus butter. All right, that's been my time, you guys. Thank you very much. Let's keep it going for your host, Carly, everybody.